welcome to my views on news. Another video, last video before I go to sleep. Firstly, in the previous video today, we shared some accusations leveled by Ethiopian press agency against Ethiopian diaspora intellectuals. Three intellectuals. Professor Ezekiel Gebissa, Sigai Ararsa, and Ermias Lagasse. Ethiopian government media, state media claimed that Tigray Media House bribed these three intellectuals, and Tigray Media House transferred $50,000 to the accounts of each of these three individuals as a bribe. Professor Ezekiel Gebissa contacted me by email just an hour ago. He criticized me that I did not take his position before airing the news, which I admit I should have contacted him. I did not have his contact number, his email. And secondly, he clarified. He said that he did not have any account with Bank of America. The receipts shown by Ethiopian state media show that Professor Ezekiel Gebissa has an account with Bank of America. And to this account, this money was transferred, $50,000. But Professor Ezekiel Gebissa says that he has no account with this bank. These receipts are fake. Secondly, he said that he was not pro-TPLF and he struggled against TPLF when TPLF was in power. PM Abiy's government is targeting him through this campaign because he is pro-OLA, not pro-TPLF. That is what he said. So, I am omitting what he said about me. He had a right to criticize me. But I have shared what is his position. He is denying. He says these receipts are fake. Some other experts contacted me as well, and they raised several questions about the authenticity of the receipts. And they say the receipts are definitely fake, they are not genuine. We'll update you if Sigai Ararsa and Ermias Lagasse clarify their position too. Now, some news stories for you is firstly, is Eritrea involved militarily on Sheraro front or not? Tigray's position is that Eritrean and Ethiopian National Defense Force they launched a joint offensive on four fronts on Sheraro around 48 hours ago. What is Ethiopian government's position? Today, Ethiopian ambassador to US spoke on CNN. What did he say? And what is Eritrean government's unofficial position? We have some information for you. Secondly, on Thursday, UN Security Council meeting could be held on Ethiopia. Some countries have requested a special meeting of UN Security Council to discuss this new start of war in northern Ethiopia. Thirdly, Mike Hammer, a US special envoy selfie man, is going to arrive in Ethiopia in coming days. The US State Department spoke today about the visit of Mike Hammer. Mike Hammer is coming to stop this war. And lastly, Sudan-Ethiopia border. Today, an international news outlet claimed that hundreds of Ethiopian soldiers from Tigray who sought asylum in Sudan earlier this year have joined the fight, and they are fighting for the control of Humera town, and they have entered western Tigray. Getachew was also quoted by this news source. I am not sure about the authenticity of the reporting of this international news source. We'll have a detailed look at what this news source said about Western Front fighting for the control of Volkai Thumera Sagre. Firstly, viewers, Eritrean military, is it involved militarily on Sheraro front or not? No official statement from Eritrean government so far. Tigray has made it clear that ENDF and EDF have launched joint offensive on Sheraro. But some news sources which are backed by Eritrean government a few hours ago spoke about this fighting on Sheraro front. They claim that Damhit is involved in fighting there. TPDM, Tigray People's Democratic Movement, an opposition Ethiopian group which was formed, raised and armed in Eritrea several years ago. Then the group was dismantled after PM Abiy came to office. It made peace with the Ethiopian government. The group has been revived reportedly by Eritrean government. So Eritrean government is unofficially, not officially confirming that Damhit is fighting on Sheraro front. It seems that Eritrean military is trying to cover up its presence on Sheraro front. That is why Damhit's name, TPDM's name is being used. How can TPDM be revived in just a few weeks or months? It means there is something fishy. Secondly, Ethiopian ambassador to US today categorically denied involvement of Eritrean military on this northern front. Slashi Bakele, newly appointed Ethiopian ambassador to US, was interviewed by the CNN a few hours ago. And there the host asked a question: is Eritrea involved militarily on northern front? What did Engineer Slashi Bakele say? Take a listen to what he said.
Is Eritrea involved in fighting in the north?
Not at all. We don't have information on that. We hear on social media, etc. TPLF has got this behavior of attracting, Eritrea to enter into the conflict by sending, some.
Do you want Eritrea involved in this fight? Do you condone Eritrean forces involved? And if they are, and not to your knowledge, but say they are, what will the Ethiopian government do? What is your then stance on Eritrea getting involved?
Between Eritrea and the rest of Ethiopia, except the Tigray region, there is Tigray region itself. Ethiopia has no access to look at those issues or allegations.
So Ethiopia is denying Eritrean involvement on northern front. Eritrea is silent. If you remember, we saw the same pattern in November 2020 as well, when Eritrean boots were on the ground in Tigray. Eritrea was silent. Ethiopia was denying. PM Abiy was denying. All Ethiopian government officials were denying Eritrean military presence in Tigray. And later it was revealed that Eritrea was part of military offensive on Tigray. The same pattern is being seen. Secondly, viewers, US, UK, France, Ireland and Norway have requested a special meeting of UN Security Council on Ethiopia. The meeting will discuss this resumption of armed hostilities. On Thursday, the meeting has been requested. So we could see this meeting on Thursday. Is there any breakthrough expected at UN Security Council? Don't think so, because we have seen several meetings of UN Security Council since the start of Tigray conflict. UN Security Council remained split, with Russia, China backing Ethiopian government, Western countries, and US backing Tigray's narrative, you can say. So, no consensus is expected at UN Security Council meeting due to be held on Thursday. I'll update you on Thursday about this meeting. And thirdly, was Mike Hammer, the selfie man, who was appointed as US Special Envoy to the Horn of Africa to resolve this conflict politically, is now going to arrive in Ethiopia to stop the war. Mike Hammer is newly appointed US Special Envoy. Before that, Jeffrey Feltman, then Jeffrey Feltman worked, then he was replaced by another Special Envoy, and after that, Mike Hammer took office. But after Mike Hammer took office, the issue could not be resolved peacefully. Rather, resumption of war is being seen. US State Department today announced the visit of Mike Hammer, that on weekend Mike Hammer will visit Ethiopia. And US State Department today confirmed Eritrean military involvement on Northern Front. We have a clip for you of US State Department press secretary. The lady can be heard saying that US condemns Eritrean re-entry in this armed conflict. So US is confirming that Eritrean military is involved on Northern Front. Secondly, the State Department condemned TPLF's military operations, TPLF's attacks outside Tigray. And thirdly, it condemned airstrikes on Tigray. Take a listen to what your State Department said about Mike Hammer's upcoming visit to Ethiopia.
President Biden's special envoy for the Horn of Africa, Ambassador Mike Hammer, will travel to Ethiopia starting this weekend to engage on the crisis in northern Ethiopia. Special Envoy Hammer will convey that all parties should halt military operations and engage in peace talks. We condemn Eritrea's re-entry into the conflict, the continuing TPLF offensive outside Tigray, and the Ethiopian government's airstrikes. There is no military solution to the conflict. Prior to renewed hostilities, we were encouraged by 5 months of humanitarian truce and are now deeply concerned about the seizure of humanitarian assistance of military use. All parties should exercise restraint, and we urge de-escalation by all actors, particularly so that there can be a resumption of humanitarian relief and basic services to all parties in need.
Lastly, viewers, today an international news outlet reported about Western Front, Ethiopia, Sudan border, what is happening there, where is ongoing fighting. By the way, international news outlets reporting on the war in Ethiopia is not very impressive, honestly. Al Jazeera reported that Waldia had come under TDF control, and you saw that TDF was not even close to Waldia. And now Bloomberg is reporting that fighting for the control of Humera town is ongoing. Bloomberg claims that hundreds of Ethiopian peacekeepers who sought asylum in Sudan earlier this year have joined the fight on Western Front, on Sudan side of Sudan-Ethiopia border. And now these Ethiopian soldiers from Tigray, who are now TDF soldiers, they are fighting for the control of Humera town. Bloomberg quoted Getachew as well, that Getachew said that these TDF soldiers had entered western Tigray. Now, we know that at the start of this year and last year as well, some Ethiopian soldiers from Tigray who were working as UN peacekeepers in Abyei between Sudan, South Sudan, refused to return to Ethiopia. They sought asylum in Sudan. So, if they have joined Tigray fighters, it might have happened. But Bloomberg is claiming that fighting is ongoing for the control of Humera town. It means that Tigray fighters from Sudan, peacekeepers and others, they have managed to enter Humera. And secondly, Bloomberg is claiming that according to Getachew rhythm, Tigray fighters and these peacekeepers, they have entered western Tigray. We could not confirm large-scale fighting in Humera town. So, for me, this reporting by Bloomberg is a little surprising. Maybe they have more sources with better resources which they have. But I could not confirm any large-scale fighting for the control of Humera town. We reported 2 days ago that fighting was ongoing 15-20 kilometers away from Humera town. But Bloomberg's claims I have shared with you. I think international news outlets need to improve their reporting on the ongoing fighting in Ethiopia. They need to analyze the fighting on the ground meticulously. Such claims have far-reaching consequences once they come from international news sources, because people ask questions and those who are pro-Ethiopian government will label Bloomberg as pro-Tigray, pro-TPLF. Like they labeled Al Jazeera a few days ago, that Al Jazeera was pro-TPLF. So, if these international news outlets are not pro-TPLF, they should try to improve their reporting of this war. Thank you for watching.